So Laser,
Okay.
do you want me to fill for time while you write this song?
Yeah, can you tell us a scary story about
Well, I'll talk
coffee?
about coffee. Liz was saying earlier that there was a challenge for me to tell my worst coffee drinking experience.
Worst or
So,
weirdest, so
or
either.
weirdest. Okay, well, there's this one time I had coffee luwak and it tasted like poo. That's the story. So we can probably move on from that one.
What's coffee luwak?
Okay, sorry. Maybe I have to give some context for that. So there is a very expensive coffee for people who just like to spend a lot of money.
Oh, is this the monkey one?
No, it's not. It's actually this. Well, sorry. Yes and no. You're very close, and where your brain is going is probably there. It's more of like a raccoon cat thingy called a civet. And so what they do, and this is actually like, I don't know why people like this because it's actually really cruel, is they force these small things to eat coffee and then they digest it and they poop it out. And the part that gets even worse is sometimes they're overfed and then they just end up throwing it back up. So there's actually two products. You can get passed and vomited. The idea is that their stomachs treat the coffee beans, the stomach acids, and it gives it a very unique flavor. It literally tastes like feces. And this is the sort of thing that if you're sitting on your yacht and you want to use your like completely gold Japanese coffee siphon to make a coffee. Oh wait, it looks like let's talk about Paul getting this bus stop instead, and then we'll move on with my life. Well done, Paul.
You got
Bus
it.
stop yet. Bus
Good
stop
job, Paul.
yet. So yeah, let's move away from that topic and let's talk about the actual worst cup of coffee I ever had. Arguable. Years and years ago, long time ago, before the rain, but before the snow, when I was but a wee lad, I was working in a roastery, and when you buy green coffee, it's very expensive because you're typically buying in the volume of like tens of thousands of pounds, which if you take that money and you multiply it by like multiple dollars per pound, you can see how large these expenses get. And when you're trying to determine what to buy or not, they'll send you small samples of green beans, which you'll then roast yourself. And then you end up making these huge tasting tables where you'll try like 20 or 30 coffees all back to back to back. And then you're like, okay, we're going to do all of our tasting right now. And then we're going to lock in this like $100,000 order. And that's all the coffee we're going to drink for the next 6 to 9 months. Nice. Now, that obviously takes some skill, and I was being led by this wonderful, wonderful friend of mine named Tam, and she was our head taster, and she was teaching me how to taste coffee. And obviously coffee is grown around the world, and the people who grow it speak a lot of languages, live in a lot of different time zones. So how do you actually communicate to each other that this is good? Like if I spoke to Ashton in Portuguese, and then Ashton tried to speak Portuguese to Laser, who speaks English, and then Laser as a coffee broker is trying to sell it to Liz in Japan, we might lose something in translation. So they've actually come up with a numerical scoring system that everyone agrees upon, and you get your palate certified, yada, yada, yada. So I was tasting all these amazing coffees, and I was having a very difficult time actually calibrating my palate because I was only ever tasting really good coffee, right? Like, because it's all excellent. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, I don't know what the difference is between a 7 and a 9. I just don't know how to do that. And the taster, she was like, great. Let's
Sorry, 1 second. $4,996 from Roosevelt just came in.
Nice.
Wait, does that
Thank you.
Does that divide
Holy moly.
by 531?
I don't know, but that's a tremendously
Okay, that's not that is not a multiple of 531 for what that's worth.
Silent auctions haven't come in yet. Unless that's from a live auction
From
previously.
the other day.
Thank you.
I don't know. It still counts for us.
Thank you. I'll take it.
All right, let me wrap up my story there. We'll go a little bit faster.
Sorry.
She wanted me to learn what a really bad coffee was to get my palate calibrated, which was an experience. I got to learn what something called phenolic tastes like. And the best way to do that is like, imagine you walked into a hardware store on a warm day. So you get that nice smell of rubber. You get that little bit of like fuel coming from the shop section. And then there's also the garden section. So you get that fertilizer, phenols or however you pronounce that. Yeah. So I got to try a coffee that at a farm was left next to the fuel barrels. And coffee will naturally absorb a lot of aromas beside it and stuff like that. And it was real bad. It was amazing, actually. When we went to scrape off a lot of the coffee grounds off the top, it was like thick, like tar. It was, oh yeah. So that was the worst coffee I ever had. It wasn't like, haha, Johnny made me drink McDonald's. Gross. It was like, no, this is actually disgusting.
This is just so you know what a 1 on this scale is, what it's like.
Yeah.
I did not make you drink McDonald's, and you liked it.
Yeah.